You shouldn't have allowed Jeff to mess with your settings. You were doing just fine when you were
I
doing
thought
the
so
Doing
too.
All Right podcast with Voch
Mm-hmm.
Lombardi, and Jeff cut your settings up to 100. But it's all good. We have Voch in the building. Y'all know who I appreciate it. But if you're on Jeff's side, I'm Voch. Then you got Jeff up in here, and you got Bryan Broaddus from the We're Doing All Right podcast from 105.3 The Fan and DallasCowboys.com. What's up, everybody?
Hey. I'm just interested in seeing Bryan fight through it. Bryan's got some stuff going on in his headphones. I'm interested in seeing Bryan fight through it. He's had about enough today. He's had about enough.
Bryan is sick of all us. I told Bryan that he could take a day off if he wanted to, but he said nah. So, hey, let's get in, do our little 30, get up out of here. So, fellas, let me just say this: y'all was at practice. Let me just run this by y'all, and y'all tell me if I'm lying or not. I feel like everybody had a fantastic day, except Trey Lance and Chuma Adoga. Is that about true and false?
Oh, Mazi wasn't fantastic.
Okay, please, Jeff, give me a rundown.
Oh, that was just the guy. That was the guy that I spent the most time with. Bryan and I kind of strategized today, and I was like, I'm just hanging out with this group. I'm going to watch Mazi, and I'm going to watch the defensive line all day, and I'm going to go everywhere they go. And I was standing 10 feet from them on the rail for all of practice. And I think Mazi Smith is the third best nose tackle in camp right now, but they're trying everything they can to get him going. And the defensive line coach is busting his ass with him, and he's coaching him hard, and he's coaching him a lot. And I do feel like people are getting to see like his best snap every day, because we do have people out here posting plays, whatever plays they want and all that. But I think that Mazi Smith is getting coached hard, and they want it to come together for him, but they're working on a lot of things with Mazi, and he is having some struggles.
Now, see, this is fantastic because the vibes that I'm getting from the timeline is that Mazi's doing this every day and that he's da-da-da. So you mean to tell me Carl Lawson is actually doing a little better that Rodgers, Bryan, you saying Davis and Rodgers doing a little better? You agree with Jeff?
Yeah, I think because I'm down on that end, and I start my day every day with the defensive line, because where I watch practice from is a platform in the end zones. I feel like you could see the best from back there. So I start my day with the defensive tackles. And Jeff Zogina, the defensive line coach, he's coaching Mazi hard. Jeff's absolutely right about that. They're trying to get his balance better. They're trying to keep his feet in the ground. And now they're working with his hands. And Jeff and I were standing right there when they were walking through and talking about, Mazi, every day we work on this drill where we go and hit the bags, and it's up, it's up, it's up. It's not outside, it's not outside, it's up, it's up. And so, Jeff's working with him to the point where other guys are trying to kind of jump in to get reps. And then, Jeff's like, no, just they keep drilling him and keep drilling him and keep drilling him. And, they're trying. They're really coaching him hard. I know there's, they've had some, we talk about now, you could probably see some clips. Oh, he's stacking this, stacking that. And, the pass rush stuff, I'm going to tell you this. I was down with the young guys watching the one-on-one pass rush stuff. And Justin Rogers has kind of figured out as a young guy through 5 practices, if you rush down the middle of these NFL linemen, you're going to get killed. And he's figured out how to either arm over, move hands out of the way, get to a corner, and that's what, every time that Jeff Zogina runs a drill with Rodgers or, Carl Davis, it's all right. Good job. And Mazi, it's been a struggle. It's been an absolute struggle for him. And, he's trying, but it's not clicking like it is. Like I say, Justin Rogers, I'm like, if Mazi was doing what Justin Rogers was doing, we'd throw a parade in downtown Dallas right now. After we throw a parade for throwing a screen pass yesterday. But yeah, that's kind of that's where we're at. There are times where he's just not been able. They scored a touchdown down on the goal line. Dallas ran the ball in without Zeke, ran it in, with Golston and Mazi playing as the 1 and the 3, and there was nobody there.
It was a backup O-line.
Yeah, and so I understand. there's going to be some clips where, oh, look, he's holding the point of attack. Oh, look, he's doing this. They are working with him so hard. And I'm just hopeful that, when, they're going to get in some of these games and we're all going to see it. It's going to Mazi Smith is to the point now where he's either going to have success or doing this, or he's going to quit. Mm-hmm. I mean, that sounds dramatic as hell, and I know that, but he is walking a tightrope right now, the way that they're trying, like their work, and it's going to be about how mentally tough is he? How mentally tough is he to take hard coaching and getting MF'd every day by a line coach that wants to play with technique? And if he's willing to do that and willing to put in the effort and willing to do it the right way, Mazi could be fine. But right now, it is a big struggle for him, watching him go through those drills.
One thing that's kind of tough for me, right, is I don't know how to evaluate the interior guys. I don't know what to say about the D-line guys. I don't know what to say about the O-line guys, right? I know Tyler is a stud. Tyler is a bona fide stud. But is Brock Hoffman winning because Mazi's bad, right? Or is Brock Hoffman getting that much better? And that's kind of where I'm kind of dealing with it at. So like once the Rams get here, we're really going to learn a lot of lessons here, right? Whoever's at center, the 1 tech, 3 techs. I just can't find it in my soul when y'all say, oh yeah, Carl Davis going crazy out there. I got more questions when y'all say things like that. I can believe that, Mazi got some work to do, and maybe I'm not going to say it's propagandized or anything like that.
Carl Davis in a one-on-one pass rush drill against Brock Hoffman, you're starting center with a swing move for a pressure and would have been a sack. I mean, Carl Davis does not. And trust me, I've thrown a lot of dirt on Carl Davis. I'm kind of like thinking right now, I don't think they have a one technique. Now they might have one in Rodgers. They might have one, but they're going to look up and they're going to say, okay, we're not good enough at the one technique. But I didn't have Carl Davis beating Brock Hoffman off the ball and getting a sack. I didn't have that. But at least I see him trying to do what Jeff Sagina is asking him to do. If that's what we're going to base stuff on, I see Justin Rogers trying to do what Jeff Sagina is asking him to do, and freeing himself up. But it's no disrespect. It's about a guy going out there and doing the job. Hell, Micah Parsons even said it. Yeah. Micah Parsons said, hey, he's either going to do it or he's not, or they're going to get somebody in there that will. Micah Parsons knows that, but yeah, I don't think as a whole, I don't think Carl Davis is a great player. I never did. They drafted Mazi Smith to play to play first round tackle. They never ever thought about one techniques. Never one techniques. And then finally they draft a guy, and now we're kind of walking that line of like, oh, I don't know about this one, and maybe something will turn for this guy. But yeah, I mean, Carl Davis and Justin Rogers are trying to do what the coach is asking them to do.
So Jeff, you in charge, right? And your last name ain't Jones.
Okay.
So you can get fired, but you in charge.
Yep.
You rolling Rogers out there first.
Yeah. And Carl Davis would be his backup.
That's tough, man. That's tough.
And I would say, to your point, I think it does say more about the defensive tackles than it does about Brock Hoffman. Because like Brian was mentioning, they do red zone today, and the offense did really well, especially the first team. And the offense scores, and Brian caught this as we're watching, that at one point the defense had the backups in and McCarthy put in the starters, and then they scored a touchdown. And so then when the second team offense got in, Zimmer was like, okay, bro. And so he put all his starters in. He was like, good luck. And they ran it right down their throat for a touchdown. The backup offensive line against the starting defensive tackle. Not the starters, because Osa wasn't out there. It was Golston at the 3, Mazi at the 1, and they just got pushed by the backup offense. I think it's more about they don't have the defensive tackles. Like, I'm not saying that Rodgers or Davis, because coming into camp, I would have been like, neither one of those guys is making a professional football team, or at least not playing. But now you're just watching them, the non-team stuff, when you're just watching them do all of the different drills and all the things the coaches are asking them to do, Rodgers and Davis, you see more of, oh, look at that. He knows how to kind of get loose. He knows how to kind of, what I see from Rodgers that I really like is that dude's got power in his hands. Like when he's locked up, he's going to, like he's going to get up out of there. The other guys, when they're locked up, they're kind of locked up. And so for me, it's more a couple of these nose tackles that I didn't know that they had anything, might have a little something. And the guy that they're expecting the most out of is going to have to change some things, or he'll play his way off the field quick. Because right now they're not going to take him out. He's first team everything. But if it continues for, I don't know, a week, a preseason game, like, are you going to change it? I don't know. But at some point, I think they're going to have to, or Mazi's going to have to put it all together.
So, Brian, why don't they put Mazi over on field 3 so he can get all the reps like all the other guys?
He is getting all the reps.
Yeah, we love field 3 over there. Get all the reps. Him and Cooper Beebe can work against each other, getting all the reps. You know what? It's something that it right now it looks like a problem. It does. It looks like, and it's not just Mazi Smith's problem. It's the one thing that Hankins was a safety net. Hankins was a safety net to, if something went wrong with one of the others, then we were going to be able to play Hankins and we were going to be fine. Now, there have been times where Hankins was on the field and they ran the ball at him. You know, they ran the ball with him being on the field. I think they're going to be better against run defense just because I think the linebackers are better. I think when you look at who they've got at linebacker, but yeah, to me, if I was sitting in the personnel office right now with the Cowboys, I would be talking about our one techniques is what I'd be talking about. And, you know, do we really have a legitimate backup behind, even a backup 3 behind Osa? You know, this is something that it'll be the Rams will come in here and practice with the Cowboys, and then you'll have a game. I'll be fascinated to see it practice how they play defense. And like I say, Brock Hoffman, I mean, I'm trying to get Cooper Beebe more work, you know, but Brock Hoffman's not going to let him get more work. You know, Cooper Beebe is going to have the learning curve is there for sure. But there's definitely that position right there looks like something that they're going to probably have to address.
If I was in charge and my last name wasn't Jones, so that means I can get fired, right?
Yeah.
If my first round left tackle beat the shit out of number 11 a lot, I'm going, all right, the next day, we just going to do that again. But I saw a whole bunch of Chuma Adoga, and I feel like I saw a little bit of Austin Richards at left tackle today. Brian and Jeff. Jeff, you can go first. Was something wrong with Guyton's shoes?
So this is going to be a Brian question because I think it's just NFL coaches that are all different. And apparently your offensive line coach is old school, so the first rounder has to earn it. But something about the defense, and they have a first round pick, so they're just going to play him until the wheels fall off or until they realize that he can't. I don't know why it's backwards. Like, I would flip it. I would be like, oh, Guyton's showing us something. He's our first round pick. Get out there. Oh, last year's first round pick. You need some coaching up and got to work on some stuff. Cool. You can work on that stuff while we reward other guys who are playing better. I don't know. This is Brian's people. This is Krusty's. It's old school people.
Who is number 79? I saw Michael whooping him one time. I was like, who even is that?
I lost my roster.
Matt, well, let's go.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's go.
Yeah.
Well, he got his head whooped today. Brian, like, what's going on with Solari, man? I know you don't know. But just
no. No, I know, and I know, and you wonder, and this is where, you know, we could do podcasts and speculate and think about and talk through. And I've been through this before. I've lived this. I've lived this where a coach doesn't particularly like a player, or a coach doesn't, you know, coming out of the combine, or, hey, I didn't like his workout, or, hey, all the other offensive line coaches we're talking to, we're all talking. And the offensive line coaches, that's all they do is talk to each other. You know, that they used to call them the mushroom group, you know, put them in the dark, feed them shit, and, you know, watch them grow, kind of a thing. And that's kind of where, you know, with, you know, it happened with Joe Philbin with Tyler Smith.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they weren't particularly, I mean, it wasn't particularly, and sometimes you get in a situation where offensive line coaches, the evaluation of it of like, oh, I like so-and-so better than this guy. And maybe that's not their guy, but they got to coach him up. I'm going to say this, and if I was in the Cowboys personnel department, the last time that was 2005, and that was a long time ago. But I would be asking, why are we not playing Tyler Guyton right now? Why are we not playing him as a starter? And I understand earning it and all that. I get it. But this kid is your future. And the quicker you can get him work. And I was watching Terrence Steele today because the way that the practice was configured yesterday, I saw a lot of left side work. I didn't see a lot of right side work. So I was watching right side work today. Terrence Steele had some of his moments too where he wasn't very good, you know, and he's out there getting work. You know, so to me, I don't know why. I mean, I say I don't know why, but I've lived it where coaches don't particularly, they're not fond of players initially. And that's, I wonder if that's where we're at right now.
Let me just tell you what I would have thought if I was in charge and my last name ain't Jones, right? Guyton did this to Micah. Micah's definitely on the internet. He lost a lot yesterday. There's a big picture of him going around like this, frustrated and mad. I want Micah to come back the next day frustrated and put my rookie in some hot water to see how my rookie reacts to it. But you know who got that hot ass water? Chuma Doga and Matt Walesko. That ain't getting nobody better.
And Austin.
And Austin Richards got whooped too. And that ain't making nobody better. I would look. Brian probably can set this up for me. Can you get Solari on the We Doing All Right podcast? Because I don't work for Cowboys.com, so they can just look. They can't kick me out of Media Row. I ain't in there. You don't see no credentials on my neck. You just see a gold chain. I just want to ask, and I ain't gonna cuss. I'm just so curious about the management of your left tackle. And why your third round center over there getting reps with Denzel Dax and them. That's all, man. But we can move on before I get too upset. Let's see. Formula, a lot of numbers, 4s and 8s. Party at Jeff House, and he says he loves Brian so much that you're his most favorite. And so appreciate you, Formula.
Thank you.
A lot of numbers. Then you got Justin numbers right here. He says Screen Pass Parade Fund refund on Mazi. So yeah, let's throw more screens. We saw a Jake Ferguson tight end type joint today that was pretty decent, and he says he wants to take Mazi back to the stove. And then we got Naeem dropped another dub. He says thank you for the continued commitment to the Cowboys content. All three of you come golf at the country club with me.
Voch is ready. Voch is almost ready.
See, Voch ready to go to Top Golf to learn how to golf so I can go and drink beer at the country club with Naeem and them. That's what I'm ready to do.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, fellas, and we got one more too. Damn says, why wouldn't you draft a running back in the fourth? We ain't had one. Trey's your fourth. Why can't we turn Trey into what he is good at? We get okay, cool. So let's go into Trey right now because he was one.
Trey ran a really nice post route into the defensive tackle drills. And Dak hit him for a touchdown when they were throwing the ball, and then Scanina got mad at Dak, and Dak basically told him, "Suck it, your guys look tired, like they needed a break." So that's why I threw a post to Trey Lance into your drill, and it was fun.
He's not lying.
And Scanina will whip somebody's ass out here.
Yeah,
like that dude just cusses everybody out.
Ain't nobody touching four. Scanina ass will be in Jacksonville next week if he go touch four. But so Jeff, that's
why Dak talks so reckless. He knew that.
Ain't nobody touching that. So Jeff, you not being funny because me and Will still had a good laugh about Trey Lance possibly not playing quarterback no more. We trying to turn him into all kind of tight ends and receive because he can run, and we saw a lot of clips of him running and looking very athletic today. But I believe that he's running because he's missing reads and he ain't got nothing else to do. That's just what Voch thinks. That may not be true, but his athleticism is impressive to look at. But he had a rough day though, Jeff.
Yeah, I thought he missed. I thought he had a couple of different times where he just didn't know a guy was there, which happens. Like Dak had it happen in the Green Bay game. He had no idea that there was going to be a guy standing where he threw a football. But Trey, I feel like they might have been both 11 on 11, but I think it was 9 on 7 and then 11 on 11. He had two different plays where he tried to throw deep out to a slot guy and he just never saw that linebacker 50 55 or 57, whatever. He had no idea he was even there, and he picked it off. Then on the goal line, when we're doing red zone stuff and we can't be doing, this is where we don't want to mess up. He never knew Marquise Bell was there and just threw the ball right to him. And then with 6 seconds left in the 2-minute drill, Bryan can walk you through our conversation because I was like, all right, here they go. Second team, we're going down. First team scored. We win. Second team's going down. All right, we got 6 seconds left. We're on the 5-yard line. I turned to Bryan and I said, oh, that's easy money. You get 2 shots at this, 6 seconds. And Bryan said,
don't run around and hold the ball for 6 seconds and not get a playoff.
And then he ran around for 5 seconds, threw it incomplete at 0.
Yeah.
He had a bad day. He had a bad day of awareness and knowing what he wanted to do with the ball and being decisive in a good way. He did have some good, he ran around well, and he had some good throws right before that.
He did. And, the thing about it, and we've started to see a little bit of Trey Lance problems in red zone. Because remember earlier in the week or last week, remember when they were in, they had a 4th down play on the goal line, and Trey tried to run it in. He couldn't find it. It was 2-minute clock was running down, no timeouts. He couldn't spike it. He had to run a play. And then we all saw the clips where everybody plastered receivers, and then Trey tried to run, and then the linebackers ran him down from inside. And that was it. The interception he threw on the goal line today was he never saw Bell. He never saw Marquise Bell. And he must have thought that he was going to get a crosser behind Bell, because they went heavy play action, and he gave it the play action look, and then when he popped up, he let it fly. And Bell was in coverage to the point where he was sitting in the middle, almost to Lance's left. Right there. See? To who? To who was that? Who was that going to? See, watching me go heavy play action, and now he eyes turned and he looks back, and it's to who?
Ain't nobody even over.
Yeah, and that's the problem. And
what if he's colorblind?
So that's where, and I appreciate you pulling that one there, Voch.
Yes, sir.
But that's what he saw, and you're wondering who he threw, and then you go down on the goal line, but you run a perfect 2-minute drill. You miss a fade.
So I found this deeper angle. It looks like he was looking at
the crosser.
17 right here. It looks like he was looking at him, but there's no way, because you see all kind of blue over here. There's no way.
Yeah, Crooms. It's going to be Corey Crooms.
He Brett Favre.
Yeah. So, to me, this is where, and he's had, and then like Jeff mentioned, when we watched the final 6 seconds of the 2-minute drill, he just ran the clock out. The awareness wasn't there. Yeah. So we've seen 3 different times where Trey Lance, but I will say this, he throws the ball better, I think, in the middle of the field than he does on the outside. But today there were some shots on the outside, some numbers outside the numbers that were a little bit better than what he's shown. But the awareness down in the in tight red zone 3 times now, we've seen it, and they've come away 0-3 with that.
And just to correct people who are trying to correct us in the chat, you're wrong. We were watching the whole practice. The interception of Bell was in red zone work.
Yeah.
The ran out the clock with 6 seconds left was 2-minute drill where they did drive the field after Trey Lance hit a couple of throws to the outside, Schoonmaker down the middle. He made some nice plays and then a couple of nice runs, and then he ran the clock out. That was in 2 minutes. That was not in red zone. Get out of the comments spreading wrong information, you son of a biscuit.
Don DeMarco every time.
At the practice, dude.
Before I ask this next messy ass question, Joseph wanted to know what watch was Bryan wearing today. It must have been a nice one.
Oh yeah, he was. He tried to ask the earlier one.
When I worked for the Cowboys, I got an Invicta. It's not an expensive watch. It's a cheap one, but it's a Dallas Cowboys. It's a star one. So yeah. But it's a 54 gauge, 56 gauge, because I can't see. I need a big watch because I can't see.
So I think the DBs had a cool little day. I kind of want y'all to run down some of this DB stuff, but there's a guy I want y'all to lead with, because one of the theories that was going around Twitter, social media, and the Cowboys Illuminati chats and all that was Israel had a pretty fun looking day. Dang, Israel Mukwamu.
Hey, he had a good one-on-one session. He had to pick on a bomb. He had to pick on underneath, but then there was other stuff in the day where he did not have a good day.
I needed some Dramamine on that ride. I was getting motion sickness.
Word on road is that Dan Quinn is so horrible that he don't know how to use Izzy, but Zim coming up in here and we got him at corner, and boy, Izzy the next best thing, boy. So y'all give me a run. It seems like Izzy had a good and a very bad day, but Izzy had a day and Jordan Lewis had a day and Kalen Carson had another day. So tell me about the corners here, DBs, if you want to add, safeties and all that to it. Marquise Bell got to pick with
Jeff. Hit him on the one-on-one stuff, because I was with the defensive line. I did see him give up a touchdown though on to Tolbert. I believe that he lost Tolbert in coverage on the back end of the end zone.
Yeah. Izzy had 2 picks though,
and he was looking for safety help there too. Didn't get it, but yeah.
In one-on-ones, he had 2 different picks. He had one on a deep ball. They tried him on a bomb down the left side. He picked that one off, and I don't remember what the second route was. But it's always fun because Izzy always has his jersey pulled up a little bit, and it takes me a second to identify him. But I can identify him because he picks the ball off and then talks so much shit.
He does talk a lot of shit. He does,
and I like that. But then I do remember later in the practice when it wasn't one-on-ones that there was a couple of different times where we're like, ooh. Got away from Izzy a little bit. Yeah. And I don't know, maybe that's the up and down of being a 6'9" corner. Was he 6'4"? Like, he's a big old dude, but he was very much a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this. And it was kind of an interesting day because I do think there's a lot of DBs that we could talk about the good things they did today. But then you say, okay, so on the whole day, like, who do you think won? And I'd be like, oh, the first team offense. Mm-hmm. But like, J. Lou made plays today. Bland made plays today.
Donovan Wilson
made plays today. But, I don't let people say that without me saying Wanye did too. I'm trying to get Wanye on the field sometimes.
Wanye,
like a bunch of DBs made plays, and I think that's a really good group. And I also think that Dak, even without CD, had an awesome day. And they put the ball in the end zone and they converted plays when they needed to. And so, like, that's just a practice where you go, okay, that was a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, it's funny. It was funny, real quick. Kalen Carson. It's funny because Jeff and I were down the end zone and they gave up I think another one. Tolbert got behind him, kind of peeled behind him and caught a ball. And and Al Harris was like trying to tell him how to play it. And Kalen was like, I thought I was playing it the right way. I was kind of, but
it's like, I hear what you're saying, but it wasn't my fault. I'm just telling you.
Yeah. It was just kind of, but they've got some competitive guys out there. They really, really do. I do like this secondary. I like Jordan Lewis. Mike Zimmer, we were talking about that the other day, Voch. Mike Zimmer really, really does like him some Jordan Lewis. So we'll see how that all plays out. But Dak threw the ball well today. He really did in a lot of areas.
Yeah. And Jeff, you can give me a little more on Dak. I can always tell when Dak's having a really good day because, I see a Jalen Tolbert clip. I see a Jalen Brooks clip. Turpin did a lot today. David Durden got a little highlight up in there. You know what I'm saying? Apparently David Durden did a lot today with the first and second team. So Jeff, run me down some receivers because that's your job, and tell us about 4.
It was all of them. I mean, that's the thing. I think you're right. Like one guy who I mentioned yesterday by name, and I shouldn't have because like it's just ho hum. Like he's a proven veteran and you know what he is. But I was like, man, I haven't seen Brandon Cooks do anything. And so today, Brandon Cooks did a lot of things and made a bunch of plays. But yeah, unfortunately, I lost my roster. But yeah, Durden is 84, right?
85.
85 made plays today. 84 made plays today. 16 and 14 made plays today. 13 they threw a party. Whoever was out there, Dak made it work to score touchdowns, and it looked like a pretty damn smooth operation. So yesterday it was like, yeah, boy, they could really use CD. And today I'm like, who the hell is in with the first team that just caught a touchdown?
Yeah.
They were making it work.
That's going to make it tough, though, because this happens every year. Like Dak finds some TJ Vasher character, and we going, oh, boy.
None of them are going to make it because all we got to do is math, right? All we got to do is math. CD, in. Cooks, in. Turpin's on the team. Jalen Tolbert, in. What do we got room for? So that's Tolbert. What is it going to be? Brooks? Like, yeah, they're playing for a spot.
We determined that Flournoy is probably going to be on the practice squad.
Yeah. Because there's too many guys making plays while he's watching. So I bet Flournoy is a practice squad guy. 5 receivers make the team. And the 5th one is, am I missing somebody? CD, Cooks, Turpin, Tolbert,
Brooks.
And then, I guess you're battling for number 5. Which one of you guys is on the kickoff team and the punt team?
Okay. So before we get up out of here, let's do something fun, but messy. And I'm just going to hate in a couple of weeks when it's time to do it, right? Mm-hmm. So you said that we're going to carry 5 or so receivers, okay? Mm-hmm. Another name that I heard really, really good things about, like glowing positive things, is Royce Freeman, running back, Royce Freeman. So, all right, Royce Freeman, I thought you was the best running back out the crew anyway. You averaged 4.1 yards a carry while Zeke wasn't doing that. So what I think is going to end up happening is we're going to try to run the football a little bit, and Mike McCarthy's going to go, all right, I quit, Dak save us again. So if you're going to go to a mostly passing offense, do you want to carry more receivers or do you want to carry more running backs? Okay. Because if Royce Freeman enters this conversation, do you cut a guy like Deuce? You know, Lipke's going to be around. You go heavy at running back, heavy at wide receiver. Because, you got your Jalen's and your other Jalen's. But, man, Tyron Billy Johnson is a vet, and he's making plays. And Cropper does something that the other guys don't do. He's a really slotty slot guy. And I feel like every wide receiver core is one white route runner receiver away from being a really good offense, right? And David Durden could unlock this whole thing. So do you go heavier at wide receiver because of who Dak is, who your passing offense is, or do you go more running backs because I don't know, that's just whatever, just more running back. But Jeff, then Brian.
Did you count Lipke in there? Because he's making the team.
Lipke is your last running back, whether it's 4 or 5.
In.
Yeah.
He's in. Yeah.
It does seem like they are playing around with the idea of 2 running backs in a bunch of different ways, and Lipke is one of them a lot, and they're toying with the idea of Deuce being one of those where they can play in different ways. But I think it sounds like they have plans for too many running backs, and it doesn't make any sense to me because Rico's the best runner. Zeke is just a running back, not going to play special teams. They're talking about Deuce cross-training as both to be able to play in different things. Lipke's doing what he does. They're talking about Royce Freeman as a special teams core guy and a veteran running back. And I'm like, okay, so that's what, 5? You're not carrying 5. Mm-hmm. We're lying about someone. Sure. One of them, the plan you have for him is not happening. And it could be Deuce going to the practice squad. I have said the one that I think fits the least because of what you're saying, but he ain't going nowhere. So I maybe Deuce is the odd man out, and they really do carry Freeman playing special teams, Rico as a primary, Zeke as a primary, and then Lipke. Maybe that's what it is. I don't think they need to carry more running backs. I don't think they need to. But I think it sounds like they'll carry 4 of them.
You want to know who the best running back is right now?
It's Rico.
Cavante Turpin.
It's Turpin.
Oh, yeah. And CeeDee Lamb when he gets here.
Talk that shit, Brian. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's
and
Turpin.
CD when he gets here.
Every time they hand Turpin the ball, whether it's the jet sweep or toss him the ball, it seems like it's like an explosive play. I wish they had a running back that had the explosiveness. So maybe it is Vaughn. I don't know. But like he was on the court with Britt Brown today dealing with some things. So, but they, this running back room, I don't think it's set at all. I think we'll see what the situation is with Zeke. There'll probably be a sentimental reason to keep him around. Like Hunter Lipke, when they went 2-minute today down the field, Hunter Lipke was the protector. They didn't have, it wasn't any, it wasn't Rico Dowdle or any of those other guys. It was Hunter Lipke was the guy standing next to Dak.
Threw it to him one time too.
Exactly. So maybe it's going to be a situation. Maybe the running backs that we think about, it's going to be maybe Zeke, Hunter Lipke, and now start looking at waiver wires, start looking at trades, because if you're telling me that CeeDee Lamb, as you mentioned, can carry the ball, if Turpin can carry the ball, I don't know. They might not go long at that running back. They might not. I don't think they will. You
didn't say Rico, and I think Rico might actually be very good at this.
But if somebody's out there on the street,
yeah,
excuse me, I shouldn't say on the street. If somebody's playing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers,
Whole Foods,
Miami Dolphins, or the Los Angeles Chargers, that you determine your pro department determines is better than what Rico Dowdle is, then I'm all about switching guys out. I am not married to any one of these running backs other than what I've seen so far, what they're trying to do with Hunter Lipke. That's the only thing I'm married to right now.
I definitely think Rico can play, but I also think Rico can get hurt. He's always been hurt guy. And maybe that's where I don't want to say fear, but my desire to just carry another run. You don't like Royce Freeman. I just keep vouching for him because he does have the best film out of all these guys, right? I don't want to remove Royce Freeman from this thing. And at week 3, Zeke looks old because that's when Zeke starts to look old. Week 3, 4, 5.
He looks old today.
Zeke starts to Jeff, I bet. Zeke starts to look old. Rico goes out a little bit. Deuce is gone. Freeman is gone, and all you got is Lipke and like hope left. And that's where this question comes from, right? Can you go heavy at running back because you got a bunch of dudes that are just question marks, in my personal opinion?
Well, Deuce will be hanging out on the practice squad, and you can pull him up when you need him. Right? Whatever. We can talk about more stuff tomorrow. You got to let Bryan go do Love of the Star. Bryan Broaddus from 105.3 The Fan and the Love of the Star podcast and the things with Voch Lombardi and the things with Jeff and the things with... You know how many things Bryan has done today? This man is a freaking psycho.
See, Jeff, where you wrong, we don't even do that over here. We just say, hey, how y'all doing? Show gets started. And we say, all right, y'all, appreciate it for tuning in. Y'all follow me at Voch Lombardi. Y'all go check out Jeff Cavanaugh on Time for Jeffrey.
He ain't wrong.
And Bryan Broaddus, Bryn Broaddus is going to be tweeting in the morning. So I'll catch you next time.
Take care, guys.
Bye.